I'm here to talk to you guys today about Hire to Code, obviously. And who here actually likes codes, truly likes codes? I hope you all do, right? The whole purpose of a code is to increase that submitting agent count. But I'm talking about hire to code. You can't code without hiring. So obviously I want to start with the front end activity, okay? So one of the things that you guys should do, I don't know what your structure looks like right now. Maybe you have to take your agents, your pipeline, but if you have SAs or GAs, you must get everyone involved in the entire hiring process. So I'm not talking just resume booking. Obviously that's important, right? But when they're involved with interviews, even helping with groups, even helping with after groups and fourths, right? They can either show up daily to learn, or they can show up to reap their own benefits. It's motivation to book, guys. So that's why I want to make sure everybody's on the schedule and learning. And we have a huge culture of tandem hiring as well. So just as the field goes, it's you watch, I do. I watch, you do, right? And we do that with every single person in the office. I did that a lot for about the first month, where I was doing everything, even the seconds, the groups, the fourths, and I had everyone come watch me regardless of hierarchy. I just want to make sure everybody understands how to get the job done. Set the expectation. Thankfully, Chris helped me out tremendously on this, but the number 12 works. It's important. 12 interviews booked per week should be the expectation for all the essays in your deals, guys. I know you guys had heard this already, but to obtain, train, supervise, and assist agents is in your MGA contract. But did you realize that's on the SA contract as well? So don't treat them any differently. They all need to act as if, right? Now, when it comes to inspection, you do need to inspect these hiring results daily. So hold everyone accountable, right? And the trackers, the data is so important. It makes analysis a little bit easier, right? And more importantly, just as Chris says, it creates competition, guys. No one wants to be the lowest person on that list. So make sure you guys have a system to where everybody's watching, nobody's safe, and they can use that as internal motivation and compete with each other. Does that make sense, guys? So as far as hire to code goes, now when you hire someone, the job is not done, right? Actually, the job just got started. So when you guys think about hire to code, you have to make sure they understand that passing the test is far from the destination, right? And your mission should be, how quickly can we get this person paid? That should be your only concern, right? Because if they don't get paid, they're leaving, right? My goal is always just to get them paid even quicker than if they said yes to that hourly job tomorrow, right? Because if they said yes, how long does it typically take for them to get paid in a normal job, would you say? 3 weeks, right? I mean, if you start the following Monday, work 2 weeks, and you have to wait till the following Friday for a paycheck. Well, we've been coding people in like 10 to 14 days, guys. That's been happening in our office. So as soon as they get hired, we want to get them to pass the test within 4 or 5 days, right? And that way, we can get their agent number. We have electronic setup kits now, right? I was really excited about that one. It just expedites the whole process, right? And our first priority is to get them their first paycheck. So here's how I do it, guys. All expectations are set in the fourth interview. I want to get them excited for everything beyond the test, but it's the most important part in the fourth interview when you guys go over the calendar. Here are a few things that I outline, okay? Number one, the first meeting. The first meeting, meaning the expectations meeting directly after passing the test. I want to get them excited about that meeting because that's when I talk about revenue generating material. That's what gets people excited. You have to, I came from the restaurant and bar industry, and back then we had to do a silly thing called the food handler's permit. Anybody else have one, right? Not so exciting. I mean, if you work for a really nice restaurant, you want to learn the menu, not the food handler's permit. So talk about the menu. This is when we get to teach you the menu, right? So that's the way I see it. I want to make sure, hey, you know what? Muscle up, get this done. It might not be so enjoyable over the next 3 days, 4 days, right? But just rip the Band-Aid off. Get the job done so we can work on the fun stuff, right? The second thing is first paycheck. And third is their release date. Both of those aspects there, I always have to remind them it's controlled by effort, not sales, not recruiting, none of that. It can be controlled by you, right? By the effort you put into it. So that's why those ones are really important. And lastly, I always put the essay promotion on the calendar as well, and how exactly they're going to get there. I tell them that there's 3 ways. Obviously, number 1, the 18,000. Number 2, it's going to be obviously the personal recruit. But number 3, 90 sits. 90 sits, I just take the math of 18,000 divided by 200 ALP. Who the heck is not going to write that 18,090 sits, right? So now when they get hired, what are they hungry for? They're hungry for sits. They're just going to go work now, right? Because they know that they can earn their promotion that way as well. So learn to take advantage of company production weeks. Okay? And any type of road trip rotations. Last time I came up here and spoke with you guys, I talked to you guys about pre-planning. Those calendars I send to a lot of you guys that you guys utilize, right? I use those relentlessly to map out road trips. Well, when I do hiring, I kind of match it all up together. I put it all together to where, hey, our top essay, they're about to go write another 10,000 on Friday. You know what? If you get past this test, I might allow you to go with them. Right? So I build momentum. I make sure, hey, if you pass, there's going to be a lot of exciting things to come. And that's exactly how during the week in my direct MGA ship alone, there was 6 codes in 1 week, guys. So 4 of them was done by my essays. I personally coded 2 because I want to lead by example, but that's how we got the job done. We built a lot of excitement to make sure people got through that test quickly and witnessed history in the making, right? So that obviously is going to help you guys out tremendously, but one of the most important aspects for me is setting that test date and the time at point of hire. Please write that one down, guys. You guys definitely need to set that down because we all know a goal without a timeline is a hallucination, right? So this forces people to set a time-bound goal. SMART goals, right? If you guys don't know that one, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That is by far the most important thing for these guys. So we make it a time-bound goal. And how I add additional motivation, guys, is you need to be willing to invest, right? I always ask all the top leaders here, what else can I really invest into? Where else can I throw more money at, right? Well, why not throw more money at the people that you bring aboard? So here's what we do. I want to protect my investments, and what I mean by that is this. Now, number 1, I invest into their licensing fees, at least for the right candidate, and I'll tell you how I identify that. But you can write down 5 days and 7 days. If they pass in 7 days, I reimburse their exam FX. If they pass in 5, I pay for everything. Here's why I do it. Now, first off, how I dictate the right candidate, well, 5 days, 7 days. If they're willing to put in the effort, if they can commit to execution, well, they're worth it, right? But I know that investing is always a scary thing, especially when you guys are in a startup MGA ship. So knowing the why is just as important. So please write these things down. Number 1, ROI. Number 2, increase in pass ratio. Number 3, financial motivation. And 4, instant gratitude. So number 1 is obvious. I was always taught by Josh Olin that 1 code equals $3,000 to your bank account. Are you willing to cough up a couple $100 for $3,000, guys? Let's be real and smart with our investments. That's why I do it. But increasing in pass ratio, you guys should all know this. But if they passed beyond a week or test beyond a week, their chances of passing decreases. So help them out. What happens when they fail that first time, right? It's always hit or miss if they are even willing to retest. So help them out and protect your investment. The financial motivation one is obvious. I mean, people are in between jobs right now, guys. I mean, some of them, right? Most of them aren't. Obviously, the $200 is a lot more to them than it is to you. So create that partnership from the very beginning, because number 4 is the biggest one. There's so much loyalty when you're the first one to reach out, right? There's a level of trust there that's developed already, because that's what it is. I invest my money, you invest your time. That's how partnerships are formed, right? If you don't have the money quite yet. So that's what I want to create. And buy that long-term loyalty, because I took that first step and took care of that for them, okay? But lastly, I'm going to end with this one, but daily coaching calls for pipelines is really important as well. Now, I understand that we have coaching calls for agents, our managers, everything. So this is actually a level that I delegate to the person who does the onboarding process, okay? There's a face to it. They know her. In fact, I invest into my HR to pass the test themselves. That's part of their role, is to guide them through the process. So all my HRs, I always recommend them to actually pass the test so they can actually mentor them successfully, okay? And as far as hiring managers or callers go, don't be afraid to invest in more than one, right? I mean, could you imagine if you guys had one full-time booker to book field appointments for your whole entire MGA ship? Would that make any sense? No, it wouldn't, right? So why just have one caller for your entire hiring process and feed all your essays and GAs and so on? Don't be afraid to invest in more than one. You're going to get to that end result a lot quicker. So that's basically some of the notes that hopefully can help you guys out with the Mayhem contest, coupled with what some of these other guys said. There's a lot of people motivated to be number one. Eugene, you're going to be number one loser in category 1, right? You forgot VB, still there, man. No, I'm teasing. Obviously, you guys are all going to do a great job. I hope everybody straight kills it and makes it their best recruiting month ever. Thank you.